the three biggest mistakes entrepreneurs are making right now that will cost them their business.
One of the first and foremost is not believing in yourself. The second point is not giving yourself the room to innovate.
What's the third point?
Define what your currency is. Define what your currency is, right? Because a lot of people say their currency is dollars.
Welcome to the King's Code Podcast. Welcome to the King's Code Podcast. My name is Raul Villacis, and today we have Eric Delgado back again in the King's Code Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, brother.
Hey, thank you so much, Raul. It's great to be here.
Like, we had you again in here. We had you speak at Leadership Summit, man. You being our signature business coach in the Brotherhood. So I wanted you to come to that podcast to talk about the three biggest mistakes entrepreneurs are making right now that will cost them their business. So let's get into it. Let's go into it. What are some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making right now that's going to cost them their business, that's going to cost them revenue, that's going to cost them their reputation?
So only three.
Yeah, we're going to dial it down to three.
Dial it down to three.
In this podcast, we have to be mindful.
I got you.
Attention span from people nowadays is like a goldfish.
Yeah, right? I got it. Yeah.
I know we have like 30, but let's give them three.
Let's give them three. So look, I think one of the first and foremost is not believing in yourself. Like, why are you an entrepreneur? Like, what are you really trying to accomplish? At what point in your life did you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself. And the moment you start feeling a little bit iffy about yourself, and the moment you start feeling a little bit like, did I make the wrong move? And you feel a little unsettled or off balance, and you stop believing in yourself, that's a problem.
You know, that's a huge problem, because doubt leads to fear, leads to guilt, leads to shame. So one of the frames that I use for my guys is belief beyond belief. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to believe that you're guided by a higher power. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to believe that you're here for a reason. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to believe that you have a purpose. The moment that you start losing that purpose, you start losing that belief, and that belief begins to damage the way that you operate, and it begins to erode your vision. And people feel it. People feel when somebody's uncertain. That brings uncertainty. So I think that's a great point. If you don't have certainty, if you don't have the belief system, you're gonna fail.
I mean, look, if you don't believe in what you're doing, it leads to indecision, right? And I learned a long time ago, and I forget who said this to me, but indecision is the worst decision, right? And as a leader, imagine leading people to a battlefield. Imagine leading people to a war. Imagine leading people.
And if you don't believe in that war, you're not going to win.
You're not going to win.
If you don't believe in what you're doing, people are going to feel the energy that you're just trying to focus on the transaction as opposed to bringing value.
That's exactly right.
That's
exactly
point.
right. So,
what's the second point?
Yeah. So we have not believing in yourself. The second point is not giving yourself the room to innovate, or not giving yourself the room to scale, right?
Yes.
And giving yourself the room, what does that really mean? Like, define what giving yourself the room or giving yourself the space to innovate or to scale. What does that mean to most people? Well, that means, maybe I should work an extra hour or two, or maybe I should work on Saturdays or Sundays. Has nothing to do with the hours you work, the days that you work. It's being open, willing, and uncompromising in adding to your team.
Every single month that we have our meetings with my whole staff, we dedicate at least 40% of our time to talk about innovation. What are we doing to bring more value to our community? What are we doing to bring more value to our customers? What are we looking to do in order for us to keep innovating in our systems, in our processes, in our content? Because without innovation, you're gonna get stale. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in, it's working. Why would I change it, right? So let's keep doing the same thing. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? But you have to bring innovation. If you don't bring innovation, I think entrepreneurs begin to innovate when they feel scarcity. Scarcity is the mother of innovation. So when you don't making the money, now you want to innovate. When you don't have money, that's when you want to start bringing different ideas. No, don't wait until you don't have money to innovate. I know scarcity is the mother of innovation, but you have to prepare yourself so you don't feel that scarcity.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, think about the leading minds in this globe. Think about the leading minds in this in history. They all were thought with innovation. The founding fathers. Imagine these founding fathers coming together and meeting and talking, ages late teens to early 30s. I mean, what were you doing as a 20-year-old? You weren't writing the Declaration of Independence. These guys thought so far ahead as a group, it wasn't just one person, it was a group of people. And so giving yourself the space to innovate and giving yourself the space to scale means, again, not just additional hours at the office, not just additional days of the week. It's surrounding yourself with the right people. You need that space. And to create that space means that you can now become, as a leader, delegate, question, answer, probe, debate, think of this, whiteboard that as a team. Because
100%.
it's really hard to do it by yourself.
Yeah, and that's where I think that entrepreneurs need to create the space to go away, go to a retreat, go to a mastermind. That's where the masterminds are so valuable, because that's when you start thinking ideas. I mean, I could think of countless ideas that we heard from you, we heard from the guys in the brotherhood, we hear from guys at the leadership summit, of ideas that has brought value to our company to bring innovation. And so I think innovation is key. What's the third point?
Define what your currency is. Define what your currency is, right? Because a lot of people say their currency is dollars, right? I'll push back and say, what is your currency? Because to some people, their currency isn't dollars. Their currency is the excitement of innovating, the excitement of doing what's next, or more time. And because for me, my currency is time. Like, I go out and I work each and every day, and I go out and I work with my team, and we look at ways to innovate, and we give ourselves the space to do new things. And I do it. Why? Because my currency is time, right? Because the more time I have, the more I'm able to bring my best self forward each and every day. Why? Because what do I do with my time? Well, for me, my time is valuable because I spend time with my kids. I spend time with my family. I spend time with my friends. I spend time with, the colleagues that I work with, nurturing them to become the level that they want to become. That's how I spend my time, right? And I think that by doing that and making myself feel good about my day, my week, my month, my quarters, the revenue just starts happening.
Yeah.
Right? It just starts coming. It just starts flowing.
It's when I call ROE, return on energy. Like, a lot of people are thinking ROI, return on income, or return on investment, right? But I focus on my ROE. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm not generating a return on my energy, I'm not doing it. So what brings me energy? What juices me up? What excites me? So I could do more of that, because I know if I take care of myself and I focus on what I'm best at, it's just a matter of time that the business grows. But the moment that I'm just doing it for chasing the money, or I think like, I'm going to take on this client just because it's going to pay me, I already lost that game of the ROE.
I can't even, back to that third pitfall is, that's what most people do. A lot of entrepreneurs chase money. They're not their true selves. We were talking about that today at lunch. Like, as an entrepreneur, you want to be your true self almost always, if not always, right? And if you're in it just for the money, if you're in it just to see what happens to the scoreboard, and you're always constantly looking at the scoreboard, you might not be paying attention to the game.
Because you're trying to please everyone else, you're not taking care of yourself. Your currency was only money. I heard somebody say, man, people are sometimes so poor that all they have is money, right?
Incredible saying. Incredible saying. Absolutely.
Know your currency. Know your currency. Know what's the return on energy, and that's what's going to give you the return on investment that you want.
I totally agree with that.
So, great, brother. Great to have you here. I know it's a short podcast, but I know we have a couple of meetings to attend. So, if you like this podcast, make sure you check out the other Kingsville podcasts right here.